Well, I own Express Employment Professionals, the Riverside Corona territory, and we're an international company that helps people find work and helps companies find the right people. The company was launched in 1983 by our two founders, Bob Funk and Bill Stoller, and it's 100% franchised. And over the years, it was launched with $5,000 and it's now grown to a $2.5 billion company. I bought the franchise rights to the Riverside Corona territory towards the end of 2005 and opened my office at the end of March 2006. We're a full-service professional staffing agency, so we try to find companies the right people. We come up with HR solutions, human resource solutions for their needs. And when I bought the office, I really wanted to mirror the local labour market. I knew that Riverside and Corona have particular industries, that they have particular challenges, and I very much wanted to work with companies that valued people, valued service, and also believed in treating people well. I came to the United States at the end of 2002 from the UK, and over there had always worked with the public sector. My background was in funding and working in non-profit groups, if you like. And over the years, I'd moved into economic development and to fund community enterprises, working with local businesses, the city councils, and communities to ensure that we were taking a long-term, strategic, sustainable development approach to changing their area and improving it. So when I was a stay-at-home mom for 2.5 years and really wanted to get back into the workplace, and at the back of my mind had always wanted to own my own business, you know, kind of wanting to write the great novel kind of thing. And so I started to look around for business opportunities, and I'd always developed teams of people and pulled teams together and looked for a business that would fit my values. I wanted to help people, and I wanted a business that was a Monday to Friday business on the whole, and would work with businesses, helping them overcome their challenges. So when I came across Express Personnel Services, as it was at the time, and I really liked their philosophy, their integrity, and their ethics, it seemed like a really good fit for me. We're now in our 3rd year and we've done very well, but I would like to be the #1 staffing agency in Riverside and Corona by the end of my 5th year. I have all the benefits of being the owner. I can get to make decisions, I deal directly with companies, I go out and do the sales, but at the same time I'm backed up by this international company, which means that our people are very well, our associates are very well protected. And I intend to be around for the long haul. And in 10 years' time, I'd like to have a 2nd office for Express. But really at this stage, I want to develop this one to the maximum. I haven't begun to penetrate market share in Riverside and Corona, and that's my ambition, is to really become the #1 agency, the place that people come to for a quality job, but the place that companies also come to for quality people. What really motivates me is, I suppose, the responsibility of the risk that I've taken. Took out an equity line on our home to ensure a business that, you know, could provide a good future for my family and my children. And so every morning, there are mornings, obviously, you just don't want to get out of bed, you know, your stomach's churning, but you just get yourself up and out there again, because you have a responsibility not only to your own family and the size of the risk that you have taken, but also to the employees that rely on me to make sure that the business is a success. And I also, you know, genuinely get a thrill from finding companies the right person and finding people work. I love working with my team. It's not possible to do it as a single person. And that's really what motivates me, is getting back into the office huddling down with them, deciding what our priorities are for the day, how are we going to reach our long-term objectives, and then getting back out there again. So I think it's just the long-term responsibility of wanting to build a solid company, a solid foundation, but just the thrill of working with people. I love it. They're all so different, and we get some horror stories occasionally, but on the whole, there's just no better feeling than when someone lands a job. It changes their life. I'd say on me as a person, definitely my mother. She was very hardworking. She never went to school, didn't have a formal education at all, but was just very responsible, very hardworking, and worked very long hours in a factory. And her advice to me and my 4 siblings was always, you don't want to do this. Get an education, make something of yourself. And she never steered us towards anything in particular, or my father. They didn't say you have to become a doctor or an engineer, as lots of Indians do. It was very much just get an education for the sake of it, because it's good to learn, it's good to develop yourself. I'd say I've sacrificed a lot of sleep. I know I used to sleep better before I did this. I've also, I suppose, sacrificed some time with my children. Having been a stay-at-home mom for a couple of years, it's hard when you're working 12-hour days sometimes, and then they're very young. My children are still young. But I don't see it as a sacrifice in the long term. I gained a lot from the people that I meet every day. I have to say, that's the biggest thrill for me, is going out there and meeting different types of people. But I think every business owner, entrepreneur sacrifices something. It just is the way that you have to work if you want to get that, get that goal in the end. At the same time, I mean, we call it sacrificing, but at the same time, I have a lot of flexibility too. I bought the business so that I'd be able to spend more time with my children. If I need to go to school for an event, I can do that. There's nobody to report to. So it's a balance. I wouldn't say it's a sacrifice by itself. It's a balance of what you can do and what you gain. I define success as being able to build a viable business, a business that stands alone, that breaks even in the sense we can pay our bills and pay our staff, but at the same time is heading towards profitability. But most of all, I define success as having an impact on other people's lives. So in this business, if you're not working with people, if you're not putting people to work, and you're not finding companies, great people that will take their companies to the next level, you're not successful. So I have a long-term vision for my company, but there's lots of short-term goals along the way. And for me, I suppose part of the success is still being here in our 3rd year. That's great. And every year we develop, more relationships. We put more people to work. And I see that as a great success. Be careful how you spend the money. I learned that very early on. The money goes really fast. And ultimately, your success is about whether you can keep that cash flow and capital to continue to build and expand your business. And ask for help. I find that people are wonderful about giving me advice. They really want to help me grow and succeed. And build a team around you. You may not have paid staff necessarily, but a team around you that supports you, that believes in your vision and your goals, and is there to give you advice. And also surround yourself by people that tell you the things you don't want to hear, because you do end up sometimes living in your own bubble. And sometimes you need someone to tell you the hard truth about you, but also where you might be going wrong and what you really need to hear. So you need people who will be honest with you and open, and you need to be open to receiving that advice.